Hey, hey, hey. It's Tuesday. We are here. Hello, Jan. Jan says it's weird to be watching in bright light and 60-degree weather. I hope that means it's heading our way.
I got my phone off. Why not?
Hold on, guys. We got a malfunction. Our way.
It's off. I got my phone off. I got my phone off.
Hold on, guys. We got a malfunction. Okay, where's this one?
It's off. My phone off. I got my phone off.
Hold on, guys. We got a malfunction. What'd you do over here?
I didn't do anything. I just made sure that this was off.
All right. What'd you do over here?
I didn't do anything.
Okay, now you should have no sound.
I hope.
Okay, I think we got him fixed. You know how that goes. All righty, here we go. Let's see who's here. And Jan is here. Cactus Deb is here. Linda, my Michigander buddy, is here. And Linda, a beautiful 70-degree day in Ravenna, New York, back in the 40s and snow showers tomorrow night. Yeah, it's spring. You can't trust the weather as far as you can see it. Carla's here from Oklahoma City. Welcome, Carla. And Jean here from Vermont Vernon, Washington. Karen, beautiful day. I'm so glad you guys deserve a beautiful day. You really do. Hi, Linda M. from El Paso, windy and 71 degrees. You know, we have been having some horrible winds up here, like 54 miles an hour. They clocked the fastest wind down here, but it was over 60 just north of us. I hear you good and good and see the 301. Great, Jan. Rita, well, it's good morning in Australia. Sorry, I almost messed up there. Donna Banning, good evening from North Carolina. You are just a lucky dog. I did get your text. I've been busy today, haven't had a time to answer it, but I hope you're going to love your new machine. And Marianne is here from Nashville, Tennessee. Marianne, we're supposed to be in Nashville in October. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. The Facebook is clear picture and sound. Good to know, Janice. Thank you and welcome, my friend and neighbor. Cynthia, hello. Nice to see you. Stephanie is here from Texas, and Evelyn is here from Indiana. So good to have everybody here. And what we're going to be doing tonight is we are going to be looking at the Artisan Curve Square templates. Okay. Um, does this show up right for you, Ken, or is it mirror image on your screen? Can you read this? Is it the right way to read it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because it's backwards on mine. Yeah, as it's kind of weird how that works.
That's correct.
I have to do everything backwards. But then I'm a little off center anyway, so it shouldn't matter much, right? Okay, what we have here on our Artisan Curves, this is the 90 series, and the 90 series is the squares. And if we take a look here, come on, there we go. If we take a look, what we have on the squares is we have 90, 91, 92, and 93. So there's only 4 templates with the squares. And our number 90 is a 1/2 inch square. And I got these with needle channels. I love it. I've got staple tape in 3 different areas on that one and on this one, which is number 91, and this is a 1-inch square. You notice that the squares are on point. We're going to address that, okay? Then we've got the 92, which is a 1.5-inch square. And my goodness, just a half an inch makes it look so much bigger. But it's really just half-inch increments. And this is our big 2-inch square. And that is a big square. And that is the 4 squares there are. Obviously, I got this one a while back because I have a gate in here. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to take these squares and we're going to make, I'm so glad I took whose ever advice and made these lines darker because you guys all can see them. The artisan squares all work on a rotation. They all take and have a pin put in the center. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to go ahead and put a tack in the center. And I lucked out. I am so glad that my center did not fall on a heavy seam allowance because we're going to be, well, we're not going to be coming into the center with these guys. It was the tablets that I used earlier today that I came in the center with. I'm going to go ahead, put my tack in from the front, but we're not going to leave it there. We're going to take it out. We're going to turn this fabric over and we're going to find the spot where the tack went through, which is right there. You can feel it. You actually can feel it. And then I'm going to put it in the back, hold on to it, turn it back up the right way and make sure that it comes out right in that crosshair. And how important is that? It's actually pretty important because if you're off by maybe, let's say, a 16th of an inch, the first rotation will be off a 16th of an inch. The second rotation is going to be off an eighth of an inch. And then you're going to keep compounding that, and each rotation is going to just be more and more cattywampus. So we've got 32 reference lines on here. And I've got to tell you guys, I have been working more and more with 32 reference lines, almost to the point where I had to make 16 this morning. It was like, oh, is this easy? So, yeah, I'm getting used to 32. Sandy is here from Tampa, Florida. Welcome, Sandy. It's always good to see you. And Lindia is here. So 62 degrees in Utah. Very nice. Joyce is here from Mesa. And Wanda is here from across town. Don't worry about it. I kind of figured you got hung up today, Wanda. It's not a big deal, okay? So, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take our number 90. 90 is going to be our smallest, and that is our half-inch square. And we are going to put it on pin number, well, it's not a pin number, but it's 4.5 inches. This is going to be 4.5 inches. And this, when we do these measurements, I'm putting it in on 4.5 inches. But what I want you to know is that that does not mean that this design falls 4.5 inches from the center out to the edge of the template. It does not. It comes 1, 2.25 inches out because we need that 1/4 inch here for our foot. So if we turn it all the way around and add that to it, it's going to be 4.5 inches from this side to this side. And I know I've been covering that a lot, but it's something that's really kind of easy to do to make that assumption. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this towards me. I've got my thread messed up in there. I'm going to put it on the 4.5 inch and I'm going to put it towards me so that you can easily see what I'm doing here. I am lining this up and I'm going to come from this rotation, which is number 32. I'm going to the tip on number 1 and I'm going to come and stop over at number 2. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and do that all the way around. Okay. And it was 4.5 inches, right? Yeah. Okay, there we go. I'm going to pull my bobbin thread up. And I do have a lighter colored bobbin thread here so that it will show nicely on the deep brown background that I've got. Now, if your lines are a little bit off, sometimes they are, it's not the end of the world because what's going to happen is the template is going to make sure that you get to where you need to go. And I'm going to get rid of these threads for us. And that is a long thread. And now I'm going to twist the template so that now my center vertical line is on line number 3. Here's line number 2, 3, and 4. Make that 1 stitch in place, come all the way up, and then come over to number 4. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to twist that again. If we have to do a little smooshing, we have to do a little smooshing. It's okay.
Coupon's not working, baby Chris.
Coupon's not working. Okay, Deb. Yeah, it's too late to call out there tonight. Hey, Ronnie. Joyce is here too, and Joy is here. Eileen is here. Shelly's here. Wow, we got a full load of people. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, guys. Okay, the coupon code for, and I know I sent this in, Square Artisan Curves is not working. Okay, I'm sending her a text and hopefully she'll get that back in order before we have the end of the class today. Okay, Diane, welcome from Queensland. Always good to see you. Okay, so I'm going to come and I'm going to twist my template again. We're going to go all the way up. Now, this one is going to be a little tricky. And the reason that I'm saying this is because I can see my fabric already pushing my foot pushing my fabric. So I'm going to release some of the pressure on my foot. I'm going to come in nice and slow. I'm going to stop. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come down to my next line. And what I will do is I will make sure my needle is down. And now I'm going to go ahead and lower that foot again.
Debbie says you were too good to us, woman.
Never, Deb, never. Okay, here we go. Oops, I got a little toe catcher there. Well, we won't tell anybody. I won't if you don't. And we're going to come around to the next line. We're going to do this just all the way around, guys. I'll only do it actually halfway. I'll finish the rest of it later. And I'm doing a lot of smooshing here, but that's okay. That's what we get to do. And there we go. Right here. Remember I told you sometimes you'll get off of your line a little bit? Right here is one of those times. I am off of it a little bit. However, when I go over to the next line, it's going to be okay because I'm going to smoosh a little. Now, smooshing is a really technical term in quilting, and it's definitely one that you should know. And what smooshing means, make it fit any way you can. I know that probably sounds nasty, doesn't it? But you know what? It works. I have got a really big seam allowance here, so I'm going to loosen my foot. And you saw how it comes up. Now I'm going to go ahead to my next line. Come on, you. This is a good time to make sure you've got a good new needle in. Okay, we're going to let it go back down. Here we go again. This is another one of those areas where you see I'm going to smoosh my fabric over and come back down the other side. There we go. I said I was only going to do half of it, but I've come a little further. So we'll go ahead and we'll stop here on this one. There we go. Now, we've got what I consider the toughest one to do, and that's always the first one. But isn't that beautiful? I kind of love this. I love the artisan curves. Every time I start working with a new one, it becomes my favorite. I am so fickle, guys. Really, I am. But look at the back. Isn't that beautiful? It's just a nice, sweet little circle, which isn't a circle, but it's close. And I just think it's so precious. So next, what we're going to do is I am going to switch my template out to the number 91. 91, if you remember, see, if I give you guys a test. Does anybody remember how big 91 is? Ruth Ellen lost track of the time with daylight savings time. I know. I hate time changes. I absolutely hate them, Ruth Ellen. Okay. Donna, you're right. It is the 1 inch. Yay. Donna got it. It's the 1 inch square. And where we're going to put this 1 inch square, we're going to put it on the 5 inch hole right here. This might be something you'd be interested in. Here's my cheat sheet, guys. When you're working on a design, it is such a good idea to write these numbers down because if you're like me at all, you're not going to remember them and you want to have them for reference. Because 6 months from now, you may go, oh, what is it I did on that one quilt? I'd like to do it on this one too. And it works. So this is going to be number 91. Let's take a look at our design. 91 is going to start back here on reference line 31. It's going to cross over 32 and it's going to hit its peak at reference line 1. It's going to cross over reference line 2, and it's going to descend to its low point at reference line number 3. Okay? So let's take a look and see how that's going to look when we're done with it. You notice I have not made a square yet. Here we go. I'm going to start in reference line number 31. It's going to come up there. Yeah, this is right. 1, 2. Okay, I just needed to double check it because sometimes I'm not quite sure I've done something right, and I don't think I have done something right. I just don't get it. Yeah, I didn't do something right. So what I did, what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at the next rotation, not the one that I am on. So this was number 40 or number 90, and this is 91, 32, 31, and it's going to come 32, 31. Yeah, that's it. Okay, guys. I'm really double questioned myself on this one, but this is correct. Trust the template, right? I always tell everybody, trust the template, and now I'm not trusting the template, but I know this is going to work. Okay. If I had a full rotation, it would make it just a little easier to determine where I'm at. So I'm starting on reference line 31. I'm going to cross over reference line number 32. Now here, I'm off just a hair. I'm going to go ahead and push my template over that hair, okay? I'm going to go ahead also and clip off these threads so they're not in our way. And now I'm going to go over reference line number 2 and stop at reference line number 3. And that is indeed the way I want to go. There we are. I can get that out of my way, and I'm going to continue turning my template. I'm going to keep the upside of this chevron shape right there, even with the chevron shape below it. And we're going to cross over that next reference line, come up to the top and back down. And we may need to fudge this just a little bit. There we go. To make sure that we get on that line. That is no big deal, okay? In the grand scheme of things, 100 years from now, nobody is going to tell your great, 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 great grandchildren, Grandma fudged a line in her quilting. They will not remember you for that, I promise. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and turn it again. And again, I'm going to fudge this a little bit when I start coming down. Come over. And there we go, right to the bottom where we belong. This one lines up beautiful. And it seems to be the way that this particular set has worked for me. Either it lines up great or it doesn't line up that good. And it has nothing to do with the templates. It has everything to do with the way I'm drawing my lines in. Okay. I drew these lines very quickly. I was in a hurry. Whoops, needs to go here. Well, the other thing is I am drawing them over stitch spaces. And that can make things just a little bit uh, more difficult to get them real even. And I just didn't take the time I needed. And hopefully that's a good learning experience for you guys. Okay, so here is our round number 2. Isn't that cool? I love this. I absolutely love this. It reminds me of the High Trail. Is it the High Trail, the Chevy um, fancy truck, Ken?
Hmm?
Is it the High Trail, the fancy truck for Chevy?
High country.
High Country, that's it. Anyway, this reminds me of the High Country emblem logo. So we've got 2 rounds done and we're looking really good, aren't we? Next one we're going to do, and I'm thinking I'm going to go all the way around because we are going to have time as I'm looking at the clock. So considering we stopped, can we come back now and finish these? Absolutely, we can. Let me show you how. The first one was number 90, which is our half-inch square, and we put it in on the number on 4.5 inches. Okay, so we came this far. Let me show you how I'm going to put that thread in, because this piece of thread is going to come up just like that. So we really do need to get over the top of that. There we go. So I'm going to start from the top. It's always easier to start from the bottom or from the top. It's harder to start in between here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set. Yes, Rita.
Take a look at
Rita says, oh, Rita, you know what? You're absolutely right. I don't have the diamonds yet, and I want them. So I actually should have told Ken that I wanted them for my birthday. There are the horizontal diamonds could be gorgeous this way. And there are 10 templates with horizontal diamonds. And you're absolutely right, Rita. Please do something and put it in West Delete by me. I'd love to see it. Love to see it. Okay, let's take a look. Joyce is here, up late. Joyce says she doesn't recognize 6 a.m. I'd love to say I don't recognize 4 a.m. either, but unfortunately, my dogs like this idea that I get up at 4 a.m. Debbie Poole says she's loving the artisan curve templates. You know, I do love them too, Deb, and I am learning so much working with them. The name of the rulers, Joey, they are the Artisan Curve templates, and this particular one we're working on tonight are the square templates. There are only 4 in this type, only 4 square templates. It depends on which type of templates you get. Some have a lot, some have less. So it's just going to be dependent on which one you would like, okay? Oh, yeah, Rita, I'm afraid there are that many. But you know what? You can do a lot with just 2 templates as well. You really don't have to have all the sets, unless, of course, you're an educator and then you need all of them. Do you think Ken picked up on that? Okay, here we go. So if we're going to stop and come back, I think it's best to come back at the top, and then I'm gonna get my bobbin thread up. You see how easy it is to come back in on that point. And then we're going to put my needle down and we're going to come to the next reference line. And we're going to stop with that needle down and we're going to get rid of this thread. Why am I cutting off these threads? The reason I'm cutting them off is these are practice squares. These are not going to be, well, they will be used lovingly by my dogs, but they don't care. They're okay with that. Okay, we'll do a little smooshing there. Come up and back down. And you can come out, you can do designs as far out as the imagination and the rulers let you. And they will allow you to go all the way out to 18 inches. That is a really, really big deal as far as I'm concerned. 18 inches is huge. I don't very often make blocks that are 18 inches. And this is going to go ahead and this is going to join that first round of stitching. And there it is. Pretty cool. And now we're going to go ahead and take number 91. We are going to put that on our 5-inch mark, and we're going to complete that all the way around too. So there's 5, and there was our last rotation. So I'm going to, yeah, there it is. I'm going to come here, pull my needle, my bobbin thread up, and you'll see I'm right where I stopped. I'm going to put my foot back down, put my needle back down, and we're just ready to rotate this template and keep going. That is so easy. These templates are very organized in and of themselves, which makes life easy when we're using them. Okay, we're going to go ahead and twist again. Up to the high point, down to the low point. And these are intermingling with each other. Okay. Oh. Whoa. I'm supposed to be over here. Oh, you know why? I've already finished this one. Okay, we're done with this one, guys. Right? Yep. I went further around with this one. Okay, so there we go. And that is what the two look like together. There we go. And pick off some threads here. And flip those off. There. So this is our first 2 rotations. All right, Marcia's here from Illinois, a little late. That's okay. That's okay. Um, Jan O'Grady says, you better believe smooshing works. And Cindy Shelley, welcome Cindy. And what she tells me is that she thinks it looks like a Dresden plate. And by golly, whoops, sorry to hit the camera. It does, doesn't it? Okay, so let's go down now to the next rotation. And the next rotation is going to be this fellow right here. Okay, This fella is going to be number 92 at 6 inches. So let's find number 92. We're going to put it in at 6 inches. And we are going to line it up. This is the important part, knowing where to line up. This was my first rotation. My number 90 on my 4.5-inch hole. Then I did number 91 on the 5-inch. So this is going to be the next rotation. And what I've got written here is it's number 92 at 6 inches. And how we're going to line it up, before I take it away, what you're going to notice is this high side is going to be on the high side of the first and second rotation. The low side is going to be on the low side of the second rotation. It means it's the high side of the first. So I hope that's not too confusing, but let me show you what I mean. Okay. I've got it lined up on reference line 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come from the high side of the first rotation up to the tip and back down, and it's going to stop at the high side of the first rotation on the left. Let me show you what I mean. So again, we're starting on reference line number 31. Pull that thread out. And there we go. Now this time, we're not going to go all the way to the edge of our template. We're going to have some space here, as you can see, but that's okay. That's the way I designed it. Okay, stitch in place. And my needle needs to come, or my foot needs to come down. Up to the top, needle down. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to snip those threads off. And now I'm going to come down to reference line number 3. That is where that inside high point is. And we're going to stop right there. Got a little chevron thing going on, right? Okay, now we're going to come over and we're going to repeat that. And if it doesn't meet that high point perfectly, don't beat yourself up over it, okay? I'll beat myself up for it. Whoops, just came off of my tack. Okay, and right to here. Don't forget, smooshing is allowed. And down we're going to go and stop here. And each time I'm aligning up the center with these high points here. And I'm going to be honest with you, they may not always line up perfectly. And it's because of the fact that I have a hard time seeing what I'm doing because I don't have my sewing machine light on. However, I saw somebody else's setup tonight, and what they had was absolutely brilliant. It was a light reflector so that the ambient light could be put on the project and make it look easy, make it easier to see. So I'm going to look for one of those things. There we go. And hopefully it'll make it easier for you all to see as well. Okay, just a couple stitches, and now I can go ahead and adjust my foot. Take that one extra stitch at the top, and we're going to come around. Hi, Christina. How are you? Good to see you here. Oh, Suzanne is here too. Yeah, better late than never. Christina is with us from Sweden. Oh boy, I didn't have my needle down. There we go. No worries. Okay, we're going to come up here. And this is, believe it or not, we have come all the way around, guys. This doesn't take long, does it? Okay, let's go ahead and we'll take that one out. There we go. And here is the third rotation. And I'm just going to clip that off. I'm going to turn this upside down. There's our third rotation. Okay, it's getting better, isn't it? Oh, visiting North Carolina. Christina here in the States. Welcome to the USA. Awesome. Okay, so now let's take a look at our next round, which will be our fourth round. And we're going to do 91 at 6.5 inches with a 1/2 inch travel. Well, let me get that number 91 out. And where we are traveling, guys, is we're going to travel a 1/2 inch up here and a 1/2 inch down here. Okay. So where we're going to start is we are going to start a 1/2 inch down from the last rotation. Then we are going to come up to the center and down and travel here and here. Is it going to be difficult? Not really. Not really. And I'm going to show you what I mean by not really. We're going to go ahead, put it on 6.5. And we're going to start on reference line number 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to start here, come up, and then back down over here. So the first one we don't have to travel on. But what we want to do, and I'm going to see if turning this light on will help you see. Here's our line of stitching. We want our needle to go right into that line of stitching. And we're going to pull our bobbin thread up. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to stitch up and back to the next line, but we're going to stop when we hit this line of stitching. Take my one stitch in place. And here we go, up to the top. And I'm going to snip that thread off. There we go. Now I'm going to come down and I'm going to stop when my needle touches this line of stitching right here, okay? And there I am. Now the big key, how do I travel? Well, you know what? I'm going to let you travel by using this foot on your previously stitched line. And you see how beautiful that comes out? You've traveled perfectly. So now what we want to do is we want to come back, and we want to come back a half an inch. So what we can do, and I did not do this prior, specifically so I could show you how to do it. We want to come down a half of an inch. And when I say a half of an inch, I mean a half an inch. Oops, gonna mark it up this way, a half of an inch from the needle. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my arrows. Well, I'm going to try and take, there we go, one of my little arrows. He got his beak bent over. And I'm going to line my ruler up right here with my needle. I can move it up closer, and there is a half an inch right there. So I'm going to stitch down. There's the half of an inch. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn my template past this one, and this is going to be where I'm going to have my halfway line, and I have to smush, no worries. There we go. I've got some heavy duty seam allowances there, but my stuff is going over. So now I can come here. I can stitch up to the top. Put my needle down in the top, and I'm going to come back and stitch down to my arrow. There we go. Now, oh, perfect. And we're just going to keep going up to my top, back down to my previous line of stitching. This is the easiest way to travel I have found. Now, you can free motion travel this if you want, but my question would be why, if you don't have to, and we can do this beautifully with the help of our template. Use our tools. We should use these tools. Up to the top, takes an extra stitch, and back down to the bottom. Now, if you're very proficient with free motion, you can come up here. There's no doubt about it. Okay? The question is, how do you know where a half of an inch is down here? We do get good with being able to decipher a half of an inch, but you know what? I think I would rather have the little blue arrow to help me stop where I need to stop. And that's going to be right there. Oh, yeah, not really, is it? I need to go down a couple more stitches. Oh, actually, I went down too many stitches, guys. No worries. I'm just going to back it back up. Oh, we'll go ahead and go. There we are. Nice and easy. And we'll go ahead and stitch up using our template as a guide. There we go. And now we're going to go ahead and stitch down again using our template as a guide. Whoops. There we go. Half of a stitch too far there. That's not a problem. I'm going to stop at this line of stitching on the previous rotation and I'm going to come back around. Okay, guys, where did oh, I forgot to do my traveling. That's why. I was going to say, this doesn't look right. Travel up here and stop. I'm going to come over this way and travel down and stop. And if you have to adjust a little bit, it's not the end of the world. There we go. And down we go. There. That one is gonna fall off here in a second. And I already broke one template today. I don't need to break another one. For those who were with me this morning, the template hit the floor and literally just cracked into. Okay, there we go. Up to the top, back down to our line of stitching. Okay, so we've gone all the way around. The only thing that we have not stitched is we have not stitched this area twice. And I'm going to. Do I have to? No, absolutely do not have to. Do I want to? Yes. And the reason that I want to is I want to keep the weight of my stitching consistent. Now, with a dark thread and a dark fabric like this, it's not going to make that much of a difference. But if I were working with a high contrast, it would make a difference. So therefore, I would want it to remain consistent. Remember, if nothing else, I'm consistent. Even if I'm inconsistent, I'm consistently inconsistent. So this is what the next round looks like. Okay, we ready to move on? Okay, the horizontal diamond. Let's take a look. Let's start with Rita says it's great design, but looks rather complex. It does look complex. You're right, Rita, but easy to stitch. And you're right there too. It is easy to stitch. All right. Now, Jan wants to know about the diamonds and whether they are new or not. Let me double check here. Okay. Here we go. They are not, the reason why is they are not called horizontal diamonds. They're just called diamonds now. And that would be why, Jan. Okay. And, oh, yep. They're called Artisan Curve Diamond. Okay. Yep, it's not a horizontal diamond, that's why. And they may have just changed the name on them. They've done that with other things too. So, yep, you got it. If you got diamond, you're on the right track there, okay? So let's take a look at our next one. Our next one comes out quite a bit, and we're going to use the number 92. We're going to use it at 8.5 inches, and we're just going to be coming back and forth on each reference line. So let me find my number 92. Okay. The one that I can't find is right here. and we're going to put it on 8.5 inches. Oh, guys, it has really been a long day today. I have no idea. All right, so I'm going to put the center on my vertical center mark of the template. We are not going to go the whole length of the template on this. We are only going to go from reference line to reference line to reference line. Okay, I said that 3 times, didn't I? And yeah, I meant to. And I'm going to show you why, okay? All righty, here we go. Foot is down. I am on reference line number 32. I'm going to go up and touch reference line number 1. I'm going to get this thread out of the way. Now I'm going to come down to reference line number 2. And there we go. Got over that seam allowance beautifully. Now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to turn my template and I'm going to go to my next reference line. And again, another seam allowance came across great. I don't think this one's going to, though. I've got 3 different pieces of fabric joining up there. So I'm going to go nice and slow, keep my needle down because I do need to raise my foot up just a hair. Slowly approach it. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move my template. Did you see that? This is something that I do watch out for because when my foot is loose, it can go from side to side. And what's going to happen is if it comes to the side like this and we keep pushing on it, what's going to happen is we're not going to have the proper space from the needle to the foot and it will throw our design off. So now what I did was I just tightened it up a little bit there, just enough so that it wouldn't waver. And now I can put it back down and finish up this rotation. And we're going to stop here and turn our template again. So far, we have used all of these squares and we have not used them like a square yet. Oh my goodness, this one's off. I gotta do some smushing here. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, I've got to adjust my foot and walk it up because this is a big seam allowance right here, guys. This one's really big. Just gonna do another stitch. Coming off of a heavy seam allowance onto a lighter seam allowance is much easier than the other way around. Now that I've gotten all the way off, I'm going to go ahead and lower that foot and stop there. And up we come and back to the next rotation. And what you'll see is this is totally independent of the first rounds of this design. Stop here, raise it up here. Come down here. I'm going to stitch a stitch beyond that because it wasn't evenly spaced. And down we go. We're going to come up and do a few more. And you'll notice that this is the speed I am most comfortable at. I do encourage people to stitch slowly. If you're uncomfortable stitching slowly, then don't. It's just that easy. If, however, you are comfortable stitching slowly, then that's how you should stitch. Some people prefer to stitch a little quicker, and that's fine. Oh, that was a tough one, but I made it without having to pick up my foot and make adjustments. Bless you, Ken. That big old sneeze caught up with them. I think sometimes this time of year we start getting those sneezes. Although up here there's nothing blooming yet, unless it's in the house. Okay, and one more, I think, and yeah, one more, and we actually meet up with the first one. So here we go. And here's where we're going to stop. Just put a couple small stitches in there. Okay, so here we go. Oh, I just cut a hole. Oh, no, I didn't. I thought I did. Okay, here we are. Let's take a look at where we're at here. What do you think? It is coming along nicely. It really is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and make some squares, guys. Look at this. We're going to make some squares. Let's see what has been going on. Oh gosh, good. You guys are talking among yourselves. That is so awesome. Okay, so this last rotation here that I'm going to put on is going to be number 92, and it's going to be at 13 inches. Okay, so this is number 92. I'm going to turn myself over here. And yeah, there you go. And we're going to start. Okay, what did I just say? I know I just said it. We're going to put it 92 at 13 inches. Okay, so all the way down here. Now this one we're going to do a little different. And the reason I'm saying that is because we are going to go ahead and put the square in. But the question is going to come up, how do you go from square to square? Way I'm going to do it is I'm going to stop on this side. You'll see the difference between this reference line and this reference line. The center one is perfectly aligned. This one comes in further than this one. Let me assure you, that is only operator error. Has nothing to do with the crosshair that I used, okay? So, well, what I'll do is I'll come in from, whoops. Okay, Ken is going to take the animals and he's going to head off. Thank you for being here, Ken. Appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, the animals are good for a while, but then they need to make a trip. Okay, I'm going to start here and I'm going to stitch the full square. Taking my time. I don't know about you guys, but the more I stitch, the more relaxed I get. And after a day like today, it's welcome, trust me. Okay. Hang on 1 second. Okay, so we should have, um, okay, question came up. Instead of loosening the screw, why can't I gently lift my presser foot lever by hand for one and or two stitches and then sewing the extra layer of material? The reason that I cannot do that is because even taking that foot up a stitch or two, Janice, it's not going to be far enough to be able to get all the way over. I have tried that and I have found that loosening the foot does work better. If I only have the edge, the very edge of a heavy seam allowance, I will do that. But when I have to go all the way up one side and down another, it just ends up going all over the place. And it really just you need to have that foot on that fabric. If you hold it up too much, you're going to end up with skip stitches, and it's going to be hard to do three things with two hands, okay? Because you need to have your hands to guide that fabric through when you have no foot holding onto the fabric and guiding it. Does that make sense? Linda said it looks like a dahlia flower, and I agree, it does. And I just did get a text from Stacy who said we should be seeing the coupon code working any moment now. Okay. All right. So I've come up and come across, and now I'm going to come down and come back to where I started. And I have now closed my square. My square is in fact on point. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to twist my template to the next reference line. And again, I am going to stitch my square up one side, down, and around. Now, what you might notice is this is very similar to stitching a circle. The shape is different, that's all. To stitch the circle, we still need to get back over to this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to travel, in this case, on the top half, because I went clockwise around my template. And I'm going to come back to the left square and stop. Now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to twist my template again. Now this time I'm not going to come in a clockwise direction because I've already got my double line of stitching on the top of the square on this motif prior. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in a counterclockwise direction. And Janice, here's one of those great big seam allowances coming together that you had asked about. So let's see how close we're going to get to it and whether we really do need to lift our foot up or if we need to adjust it. Now, if I lift my foot up and try to get over there, I have to start my machine with my right hand, hold my template, and hold my foot up. I don't want to hold my foot all the way up because then it's not going to make a stitch. But if I come here and just loosen the foot up, watch what happens. It goes over that heavy seam beautifully. I can keep my hands on my template so that I don't get skipped stitches. Now I can come back and just lower it a little bit, and you'll see that I'm right back where I want to be. And now we're going to have to do it again because we're going around the bottom side of this square. Right in there. And here we go. Even though I've already stitched over that, it's not going to be easy to stitch over it again without adjusting that foot height. And there it got a little too high and started skipping stitches. So I'm going to just tighten that through a little bit so that it can't jump around. And there I've got it in the center. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to drop it back down. Okay, now this one I think we need to make a little adjustment for. There we go. This time I'm going to go in a clockwise direction. And this is going to be much easier with my seam allowances because I'm coming from the high side of the seam to the low side of the seam. And that always just seems to work better. Here, I've got kind of a high point here, so I am going to adjust my foot. All I do is loosen it, and I let my foot find its level, okay? Take my time going over it. Now, what's nice is because of the direction that I'm stitching in this time, I don't need to go over that heavy seam allowance twice. So I'm going to go ahead and put my foot back in its proper placement. And we're going to come up and around. And back down. There we go. I should have loosened that foot just a little bit. There we go. So this is how our squares are going to look on the outside of our design. And I think they work, don't you? I really do like this. I like this design. I love the artisan curves. I have not had a whole lot of experience with them until now. And I can tell you, I'm going to have a lot more experience with them because I absolutely enjoy them. They're so much fun. Now, tomorrow morning, what we are going to be working with are the Spin Effects snowflakes. And the Spin Effects snowflakes are a lot more versatile than we often give them credit for. There's a whole lot of fun things we can do with them. I don't think I'm going to be able to cover it all in an hour, but we're going to give it a try to cover as much as we can in the hour plus or minus a little that we have to do it. That is okay. Linda Shell. Kathy, can you confirm how long the coupon code is supposed to be valid for? Yes, I can. Linda, the coupon code is valid from Monday to Monday. I send So Steady my email with the templates that we're going to use for the week, often on Saturday evening or Sunday. Now, if I'm having what we like to call some of us like to call brain fart, that that I can forget and get it over there Monday morning, but very seldom do I wait until Monday morning. I like to get it over sooner rather than later. And actually, in my calendar, I've got it written down to do it on Friday. So it gets done, definitely gets done in time. And you were right, Linda. That's what you thought, and that is what it is from Monday to Monday. So if you see something tonight and you see something tomorrow, you can wait till tomorrow and order them both on the same day. It's easier for you guys that way. Okay. Well, Debbie, thank you so much. Dee Dee, thank you. Thank you. Um, I'm glad you got here to watch too, Dee Dee. I really am. Uh, it is a fun design. It really is. So they are a part of the Artisan series. Yes, these are part of the Artisan series. There's so many artisan templates, and it's my goal to have them all. I'm going to be greedy. We have circles, diamonds, an iris, and I'm waiting for the iris to get here. It's again 4 templates. The peak I've ordered a couple of. I've done the teardrop, the Persian peak, the oval, the curved marquee, and tonight we've done the square. So really, the only thing we have left is the iris if they come in quick enough. Otherwise, we will be moving on. And let me take a look in my book. Okay, I'm in the wrong month there. Let's take a look at March. March, we should have, okay, if the Artisan Curve Iris come in, we will have those next week. If they do not come in before next week, we will do the back-to-back templates, okay, the rulers. Tomorrow morning is going to be the Spinifex Snowflake. And on the following week, we're going to have the Spinifex Mini. And, you know, then we're going to have one more week, I think it is, with Spinifex Feathers. And then we're going to start on our Spinifex templates. And I love the Spinifex templates. I've done some classes in them and I want to do more. And I will be writing a book with Spinifex templates and giving you different ideas on how to use them. So that's going to be a great deal of fun, I think. I'm really looking forward to it. Um, so what I want to do is just really thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being here. Donna said she's gonna miss tomorrow morning's session. Little man has to go to the vet. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And she will catch up later. And I'm confident she will, Donna. Awesome. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. Let us know what you want to see. If there's something special, please let me know. Best way to do it is in an email. Because if you give me something, I will print it out and put it on my bulletin board so I don't lose track of it. Okay. Thank you again. Until we meet again, let's quilt.